Picture this. We are high above Times Square inside the Marriott Marquis Hotel. Floor-to-ceiling glass frames the view. Neon signs flash in every color. Yellow taxis move slowly below. Crowds cross streets in endless waves. Times Square is energy. It is ambition. It is the place where businesses dream of breaking through.
Look closer and you see two different worlds. Down on the streets are the small and mid-sized businesses. A family-owned factory. A startup trying to keep servers running. A small accounting office. They work hard every day. But their systems are old, stitched together and hard to manage. And then higher up you see the giants. Oracle, Salesforce, Microsoft. Their names cover the skyline, just like they dominate the market. David and Goliath, side by side.
Tonight, we bring you the story of a company that wants to change that balance. A company born in India, sharpened by work across 10 countries, trusted with projects worth more than $1 billion. Now it is aiming at the United States. That company is Kreyon Systems. Before we dive in, let us introduce ourselves. I am Sophia. My expertise is in global strategy and macro trends. I look at how markets, technology, and leadership shape the world of business. Tonight, I will look at Kreyon through that lens. And welcome to AI, part of the Finance Frontier AI podcast network. This is the place where we explore the companies, tools, and ideas that shape the future of business and technology.
I am Max. My focus is edge. The small moves, the bold plays, the tactics that separate winners from the pack. I track how challengers disrupt the giants. Tonight I will ask the hard question. Does Kreyon Systems have the edge to win in the US?
And I am Charlie. My lens is long-term value. I study how companies compound results, how they create resilience, and how they build a lasting future. Tonight I will weigh Kreyon not only for today, but for the next decade.
Together, we run Finance Frontier AI, a network of 4 elite podcast series. Finance Frontier explores markets and geopolitics. AI Frontier AI, where tonight's story belongs, dives into innovation. Make Money is about investing strategies. Mindset Frontier AI explores the tools and habits of top performers. Across all 4 shows, our goal is to decode what the top 1% know and share it with you.
Tonight our focus is Kreyon Systems, a company that says digital transformation should not be locked away for the Fortune 500. A company that believes AI, automation, and advanced analytics should be within reach of every business. From a small shop in Ohio to a regional factory in Pennsylvania, Kreyon wants to be the partner that helps them grow.
The promise is bold. Kreyon already has software used by more than 100,000 people worldwide. They have managed projects worth hundreds of millions and delivered systems in energy, healthcare, education, and more. Now they want to bring that expertise to American businesses who feel left behind by the giants.
So let us set the stage. We are in Times Square, the symbol of ambition. Below us, the small businesses who fight every day to survive. Above us, the corporations who dominate the market. And between them, we place Kreyon Systems. Can they be the new frontier? Can they take American businesses from inspiring to iconic? That is the story we are about to tell.
If you want a partner to help transform your business with AI-powered automation, visit kreyonsystems.com or connect with Apoorve Dubey on X. And if you want more top 1% storytelling, subscribe to Finance Frontier AI on Apple or Spotify.
Every business has a beginning, and the story of Kreyon Systems starts with its founder, Apoorve Dubey. He studied at IIT Madras, which many people call the MIT of India because of the talent and global leaders it has produced. From there, he built a career that was less about theory and more about execution. Apoorve has always been focused on how ideas become reality. He even wrote a best-selling book, The Flight of Ambition, that looks at how vision can be turned into concrete results. The same discipline that goes into writing a book is what he has poured into building Kreyon.
What makes his story stand out is that it is not just about building software, it is about building with values. Kreyon is guided by what they call trust, transparency, reliability, user-centered design, simplicity, and transformation. These words may sound simple, but they carry weight when you apply them to technology. Transparency means clear reporting and no black box systems. Reliability means platforms that do not break under pressure. User-centered design means tools that make sense even for people who are not technical. Simplicity means fewer steps, less confusion, and more results. And transformation means that the end goal is always business growth, not just delivering a piece of code.
These values are not just nice words on a website. They show up in client results. One education group with 11 institutions explained how Kreyon's ERP system reduced their complexity so much that they secured national accreditation. Imagine how many moving parts exist across schools, teachers, and administrators. By simplifying those systems, Kreyon helped them save time and focus on students instead of paperwork. That is what user-centered innovation looks like in the real world.
And this is not a story of small-scale wins alone. Apoorve has managed projects that many would consider impossible for a young company. One of the most notable was a Japanese-funded power initiative worth more than $200 million, managing assets over $1 billion. The project required constant compliance checks, integration of payment systems, and reporting that satisfied international agencies. It was a live test of whether Kreyon could manage complexity, and they delivered. If they can meet the standards of international funding bodies and government audits, then handling payroll, compliance, and automation for a mid-sized U.S. business is well within their range.
Apoorve's approach is also deeply tied to entrepreneurs. He believes that too many small businesses fail because their systems cannot keep up with their growth. A startup can manage in spreadsheets and email for a while, but eventually those systems collapse under the weight of expansion. His message, from inspiring to iconic, is about preventing that collapse. It is about giving business owners the tools they need so their growth does not turn into chaos. It is about making sure systems grow alongside ambition.
This is why the founder's story matters. It is not the story of someone who created one flashy app and hoped it would take off. It is the story of someone who has worked across industries and continents, who has seen what breaks businesses and what saves them. His background gives credibility, and his values give direction. Together, they form a foundation that is strong enough for U.S. business owners to trust. When you look at Kreyon through the lens of its founder, you see more than just a software company. You see a team built on discipline, vision, and the promise that technology should make life simpler, not harder.
When you talk to small and mid-sized businesses in the United States, the first cracks usually show up in finance. Picture a family-owned factory in Ohio. They're trying to keep up with orders, but every payday turns into a marathon of spreadsheets. Each state they operate in has different payroll taxes. Each supplier has different invoice terms. Each mistake means late fees, penalties, or unhappy employees.
And it's not just factories. Imagine a growing e-commerce store in Texas. They run sales on Shopify, Stripe, and PayPal, but reconciling all those payments takes hours every week. Or think about a nonprofit in California. They receive grants and donations that must be tracked to the penny to keep the IRS and their board satisfied. These examples may sound different, but the pain is the same. It is complexity that eats away at growth. This is where Kreyon comes in. They are not offering a magic button, but they are offering a system that acts like an air traffic control tower for business finances. Payroll, tax, invoicing, and compliance are no longer scattered. They are all connected in one flow. It is built into the system to flag anomalies, to predict cash flow, and to warn of compliance risks before they become costly. Imagine having a GPS for your finances. You see where the money is, where it is going, and what obstacles lie ahead. That is what Kreyon delivers.
I want to pause and ask the hard question. Is AI really the edge here, or is the business model the true advantage? When I look at Kreyon, the power is in how they deliver. They combine proven enterprise systems like ERP and CRM with global scale and cost efficiency. The giants like Oracle or Salesforce sell tools that many SMBs know could help them, but the price is beyond reach. Kreyon makes these tools accessible at a fraction of the cost. AI is important, but it is the combination of AI with affordability and speed that makes the model disruptive.
That mix of AI and cost efficiency is already creating results. One client explained that Kreyon improved their predictability and reduced implementation costs compared to almost every other provider they had tried. Another client reported a 500% increase in web traffic when Kreyon combined digital marketing with automation. These are not abstract stories. They are clear, measurable outcomes that show what happens when you connect AI with practical business needs.
And let's be clear, this is not just about buzzwords. The promise here is not AI will solve everything. The promise is that you no longer lose money to late invoices, missed tax filings, or broken compliance. The promise is that your financial dashboard shows you in real time what is happening so you can act faster. For a business owner juggling 10 things at once, that clarity is priceless.
It also means peace of mind. Many SMB owners in the U.S. are already using QuickBooks, Xero, or similar tools. Kreyon is not asking them to abandon what they know. Instead, their systems integrate with these tools, extend them, and automate what is usually manual. That lowers the barrier to adoption. It shows that Kreyon is not just building for technology's sake, but building for the way businesses actually work.
And that is why finance and accounting are the wedge Kreyon is using to expand in the U.S. market. Every business owner feels the pain of messy finances. Every business owner knows the risk of falling behind on compliance. By solving that pain first, Kreyon earns trust. Once that trust is earned, it opens the door to broader automation, from HR to supply chain to customer relationship management. Finance is the start, but it is only the first chapter.
So far, we have focused on finance, but Kreyon is not just a one-trick company. Their strength is in the range of tools they have built and delivered. Think of cloud-based ERP systems that connect every part of a business. Think of mobile apps that let a manager approve expenses on the go. Think of supply chain systems that show where goods are in real time. Kreyon builds all of these. The common thread is that they are designed to work together instead of being separate islands of data.
What stands out is the way they combine different layers of technology. They use cloud software so systems can scale quickly. They use advanced analytics so leaders see patterns, not just raw numbers. They use the Internet of Things so data from machines and devices flows into the same dashboards that track payroll and sales. For many SMBs, this is the first time finance, operations, and customer information are all in one place. It is the difference between flying blind and flying with a full set of instruments.
But here is the question I need to raise. Can a company based in India really handle the complexity of U.S. compliance? American businesses face strict rules around data privacy, payroll reporting, and taxes. There are 50 states with 50 different sets of rules. There are federal standards like HIPAA for healthcare and CCPA for privacy in California. These are not small challenges.
That is a fair point, and the answer is that Kreyon has already proven it can deliver in environments that are just as complex. The Japanese-funded Power project required strict alignment with international audit standards and rules for releasing payments in remote areas. In Africa, Kreyon has delivered systems for governments that required both real-time monitoring and multi-currency reporting. These are projects where failure was not an option. If they can pass the test of international regulators and funding bodies, they can adapt their systems to the United States.
And there is proof closer to home, too. Kreyon already has U.S. clients in places like New Jersey and Florida. One client explained how Kreyon system gave them faster time to market and improved predictability compared to big brand solutions they had tried. Another client said Kreyon's team helped them cut costs while improving usability. These are the kind of results that matter to SMBs in the U.S. They show that Kreyon is not just theorizing about compliance. They are already delivering solutions to American businesses.
What I like here is the combination of global scale and local touchpoints. Kreyon has delivered in more than 10 countries. That means they have seen different regulatory systems, different market conditions, and different customer needs. It gives them a playbook for how to adapt. For a U.S. business owner, this global playbook is an asset. It means the systems have been stress-tested in tougher environments before being applied to the U.S. market.
And the range of products shows that this is not just an AI company or a finance software provider. They have built CRMs, project management systems, asset management tools, payroll and HR solutions, supply chain platforms, and mobile applications. Each one can be used on its own, but together they create a complete system. That is what makes Kreyon different from startups that only focus on one small piece. They can deliver end-to-end automation that grows with the business.
For US SMBs, the message is simple. Kreyon offers the same advanced tools that global enterprises use, but at a cost and speed that makes sense. You do not need to be a Fortune 500 company to access real-time analytics, mobile-ready ERP, or IoT-powered asset management. Kreyon brings that level of capability to the mid-market. That is the heart of their pitch, and it is where their technology stack becomes a competitive edge. At this point, the question is not only what Kreyon can do, but what they have already done. Stories matter because they show whether bold claims hold up under pressure. One of the most striking examples is the Japanese-funded power project in India. This was a program worth over $200 million, managing more than $1 billion in assets.
The work required constant monitoring of construction projects across remote locations, complex payment schedules, and compliance with international audits. Kreyon built the system that made it possible. Engineers in the field used mobile apps to record progress. The data flowed back into dashboards that tracked every milestone and every dollar. Auditors in Japan could see what was happening in real time. This was not theory. It was a working solution that passed every test. That level of complexity is hard to overstate. Imagine if a small or mid-sized business in the US had to manage hundreds of vendors, multiple funding sources, and strict oversight. For most SMBs, even managing 5 suppliers and 1 bank can be a headache. Kreyon proved they could handle complexity far beyond what most American companies will ever face. If they can do it at that scale, they can certainly do it for businesses that need more efficient payroll, invoicing, or compliance.
The global projects are impressive, but let's also look at direct client feedback. One US-based company said that Kreyon System improved their time to market and made their operations more predictable compared to solutions from larger providers. Another American client explained that Kreyon's team focused on usability, which meant their employees learned the system faster and delivered results sooner. Usability might sound small, but for SMBs, every week saved on training is money saved and productivity gained.
There are other stories too. A client in Australia said that after trying almost every big brand system, Kreyon was the one that finally delivered. They explained that Kreyon's focus on the user interface and on reducing cost of implementation made all the difference. Another client in Singapore highlighted how Kreyon's project management system gave them visibility they had never had before. These are voices from around the world, and they carry a common theme. Kreyon delivers value faster and at lower cost than the alternatives.
What makes these proofs powerful is that they are not just about saving money. They are about creating growth. One client reported a 500% increase in digital traffic when Kreyon supported their online strategy. Another education group used Kreyon's ERP to connect 11 institutions, which led directly to national accreditation. In each case, Kreyon was not only solving a technical problem, they were enabling the business to move forward.
The scale of adoption is also worth noting. Kreyon systems are used by more than 100,000 users across 10 countries. That number is not just vanity. It shows that these systems have been tested by different cultures, different regulations, and different industries. It means the software has been stress-tested in real conditions, not just in a lab. For a US SMB owner, that is a strong form of reassurance. You are not a guinea pig. You are stepping into systems that have already been used and refined.
And it is not only technology leaders who notice. Governments, funding agencies, and regulators have trusted Kreyon to deliver. That kind of trust is hard to earn and easy to lose. The fact that Kreyon continues to win new projects shows that they are not a one-time success story. They are a consistent performer. For SMBs in the US, that consistency is what de-risks the choice. Choosing a new tech partner is always a leap of faith. These case studies show that Kreyon is a partner you can trust to land safely.
Every business story has its giants. In technology, those giants are names like Oracle, Salesforce, and NetSuite. For many small and mid-sized businesses in the United States, these names are familiar but also intimidating. The tools are powerful, but the price tags and the complexity are overwhelming. You could say that the giants cast long shadows. In that shadow is where many SMBs struggle. They want the same tools, but they cannot afford the cost or the time it takes to implement them.
This is where Kreyon positions itself as the challenger. They're not claiming to replace every feature of the giants on day one. Instead, they focus on speed, cost, and usability. A U.S. business owner who hears that Kreyon can deliver automation, analytics, and compliance tools in weeks rather than months and at a fraction of the cost pays attention. It levels the field. The tools that once belonged only to Fortune 500 companies can now be in the hands of a small manufacturer in Ohio or a retail chain in Florida. That is the promise that shifts the balance.
But let us be careful. Calling Kreyon the new frontier for U.S. SMBs is a bold claim. The better question is whether Kreyon could become that frontier. Do they have the building blocks? From what I see, yes. They have the systems. They have the global experience. They have proof from projects that demanded more complexity than most SMBs will ever face. The difference is that they package those strengths for smaller companies at a price point the giants will never match. That is where the underdog advantage comes in.
And history shows that underdogs often win. Think of how smaller, nimble companies have disrupted entire industries by focusing on the needs of customers that the giants overlooked. Kreyon is aiming for that space. They are not trying to beat Oracle or Salesforce head-to-head. They are offering something different. They are saying, if you are tired of being ignored by the giants, here is a partner who will build with you, not just sell to you.
The global playbook is part of the edge too. Kreyon has delivered systems in more than 10 countries across industries as diverse as healthcare, power, education, and finance. That means they have solved problems in environments with different rules, different pressures, and different levels of risk. The Japanese-funded project required alignment with international standards. African government projects required solutions for connectivity and transparency. Each project added to the playbook. For U.S. businesses, this global experience reduces risk. You are not betting on a company that is guessing. You are working with a company that has already adapted in tougher markets.
That is the part I find most compelling. Many U.S. SMB owners worry that an offshore partner will not understand their needs. But the truth is that a partner who is delivered in diverse markets often has more flexibility, not less. They know how to adjust. They know how to listen. They know that one size never fits all. That mindset is valuable for U.S. companies that are tired of rigid one-direction systems.
So the question is clear. Will Kreyon become the new frontier for U.S. SMBs? Time will tell, but the signs are strong. They have the affordability, the agility, and the global proof. They have a founder who believes in taking entrepreneurs from inspiring to iconic, and they have systems that are already in use by more than 100,000 users around the world. If David ever had a chance against Goliath, it would be by moving faster, aiming smarter, and using tools that fit. That is exactly what Kreyon is offering.
As we look ahead, one question remains. What will the next decade of business look like for small and mid-sized companies in the United States? The challenges are real. Regulations are not getting easier. Supply chains are not getting simpler. Customers expect faster service and more personalization. At the same time, the giants of enterprise software are focused on their biggest accounts, leaving many smaller firms to fend for themselves. In that gap lies opportunity.
Kreyon Systems is aiming to be that opportunity. They are not promising overnight miracles, but they are promising partnership. Their vision is not about building software for the sake of software. It is about giving business owners clarity, confidence, and control. Imagine waking up and seeing a dashboard that shows your finances, your supply chain, and your compliance all in one view. Imagine knowing that late fees, missed filings, and hidden risks are handled before they happen. That kind of clarity is not just a technical upgrade, it is peace of mind.
And this is where the win-win comes in. For Kreyon, the win is expanding their footprint in the U.S. market. For SMBs, the win is finally getting enterprise-grade automation at a cost and speed they can live with. It is a trade that makes sense. Kreyon gets growth. U.S. businesses get freedom from the systems that hold them back. That is what makes this collaboration worth watching.
So here is our invitation. If you would like a partner to help transform your business with AI-powered automation, visit kreyonsystems.com or connect directly with Apoorve Dubey on X. That is the path to learn more, see case studies, and explore whether Kreyon is the right fit for your company.
And if you are here for the storytelling, for the bigger picture, and for the strategies that shape the future of business, subscribe to Finance Frontier AI on Apple or Spotify. Explore all 4 of our series. Finance Frontier, where we decode markets and geopolitics. AI Frontier AI, where we bring business innovation into focus. Make Money, where we explore 10 times investing strategies. And Mindset Frontier AI, where we look at the tools and mental models of top 1% performers. Every subscription helps us bring you more stories like this one.
Collaboration is at the heart of this episode. If you take one message away, let it be this. Small and mid-sized companies do not have to stay in the shadows of giants. With the right partner, with the right systems, they can step into the light, compete at scale, and build futures that are not only profitable but iconic. Kreyon's story is proof that the frontier is open. The only question is who will step into it.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice, legal advice, or development guidance. Always verify before you act, build, or invest.
The AI landscape is changing fast. Benchmarks evolve, regulations shift, and what is true today may not hold tomorrow. Use every insight here as a lens, not a conclusion.
Today's music, including our intro and outro track Night Runner by Audionautics, is licensed under the YouTube Audio Library license.
Copyright 2025 Finance Frontier AI. All rights reserved. Reproduction, distribution, or transmission of this episode's content without written permission is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.